Have you ever wondered what the real cost of surviving the Squid Games would be? Beyond the prize money, let's dive into the medical nightmare. Broken bones, gunshot wounds, psychological trauma, you name it. By the end of this video, we'll calculate the total medical bill for all 455 players. Spoiler alert, it's a number so high, it'll make you think twice about signing up for these games. Before we crunch numbers, let's set the scene. The Squid Games start with 456 contestants from all walks of life, each desperate enough to risk it all for a 45.6 billion won prize. But these players endure brutal injuries in every single round. So how much would it cost if these injuries were treated in the real world? Let's dive into round 1. Red light, green light. This iconic round eliminates over 200 players, the majority from gunshot wounds. In real world terms, a single gunshot wound can cost between $20,000 and $50,000 to treat, depending on the severity. Let's assume an average of $35,000 per player, so if we multiply that by 200 casualties, we're already looking at $7 million in medical bills for this round alone. And that's just the start. Next up, the honeycomb challenge. While fewer players get eliminated here, some are shot for failing the task. We already know that gunshot wounds cost around $35,000 on average, and with 50 players eliminated this way, that's an additional $1.75 million in medical bills. In the next round, tug of war takes physical strain to a new level. However, the most severe injuries occur when players fall from a height of 100 feet. Treating injuries like spinal fractures and internal bleeding costs around $100,000 per person. And with 40 players falling, this round racks up $4 million in medical expenses. The marbles round is emotionally devastating, but for those who lose, gunshot wounds seal their fate. At $35,000 per treatment for 50 players, this round adds another $1.75 million to the tally. Moving on, the glass bridge round is catastrophic, with players falling from lethal heights and suffering glass puncture injuries. Treating such trauma costs an average of $75,000 per person. With 30 contestants falling, this round's costs reach $2.25 million. And finally, the Squid Game itself. The last two contestants endure brutal hand-to-hand combat, resulting in severe injuries, broken ribs, internal damage, and more. The cost of treating these injuries could exceed $200,000 each. That's $400,000 just for the final showdown. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the grand total. Combining all of the rounds, the total medical bill for all 456 players comes to over $17.15 million. And that's just a conservative estimate. So while the Squid Games offered 45.6 billion won as a prize, the medical bills would eat into the winnings for anyone lucky to survive. So what's your take on this? Would you risk it all knowing the true cost of these games? And don't forget to subscribe and stay away from those medical bills.